So last week I shared with you about a question that came to me from Jason, where Jason asked me this question. He said, I'm really struggling with a client experience during the project. He said, it begins great and the results are stellar, but midway it really sucks. What advice would you give to help me? And as I said last week, the very first question that I asked Jason is, tell me what that means. Like, how is it that it sucks during the middle of the project? Like, where does it break down? And as I heard back from him this last week, and I asked him that question, the very thing that he said to me was, it just seems like there's this constant sense of dissatisfaction on behalf of the client. There's this constant sense of like that no matter how hard we work, no matter how much we do, it doesn't seem to be enough. And we try to do these things that we think are going to help, but it doesn't seem to help. And I asked some more questions because, as I said in last week's video, the first thing you need to do is dig deeper into really find out what the source of the problem was. And as I began to dig deeper and I asked him some more questions, what I heard was, they're doing all these things that they think are going to keep the project on time, on budget, and make sure that they fulfill on the promise that they made, right? On time, on budget as promised. But what I also heard was that there were a couple of things that were really missing in Jason's interaction with his client that I'm going to talk with you about today, and maybe that you can start to do differently in your contracting business if you're experiencing that same thing, to have a better experience all along the way with your customer. I'm Vicki Suter with Suter Business Builders, and for over 25 years I've been helping contractors build more sustainably successful contracting businesses. And one of the key elements of being able to do that is having more clarity, and that clarity giving us more confidence that we can take more powerful actions. And as I look at Jason and the challenge he's having with his client, the one really big thing that got revealed as I asked Jason more questions was that while they were staying on top of projects and making sure that it was, staying on schedule, and that they were working really hard to make sure that all the delivery and the installations were happening on time, and that they were fulfilling on the end goals that they had set with the client in the first place. So what was missing with the client was that same element of helping the client have that clarity, so the client had that confidence in them so that they could be actually better clients to the contractor. The thing that I know is that contractors who are the most successful in their projects have an enormous amount of attention to helping their clients be super clear about and confident all along the way in the project, so that they are better engaged, and so that they are better customers, and that they are more satisfied all along the way. And quite frankly, when you have clients that are more clear and more confident, they make quicker decisions, they make better decisions, and there's less distraction and there's less upset during the project. And what he said was that, they track all of that. They meet every week with their team to keep on top of it. And I said, so do you have regular client meetings? And he said, yeah, we do. Like, we meet with the client. But then we started to dig a little bit deeper about what does he do when he has those client meetings. And he said, well, we go over with the client, like what change orders are open or what selections they need to make, right? So as I listened to him, what I heard was, wow, like a lot of it is just about getting from the client, right? Pulling information. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. But what was lacking in that conversation with the client was that ability to have the client feel completely informed about where they were financially on the project, and where was the project overall in terms of the schedule, and where was the project overall in terms of the dollars and cents and where they were, and how much had the change orders totaled up to for that, for the entire project in each area. So here's what I suggested to Jason. I said, have an agenda that starts out not with, here's what I need from you, homeowner, but maybe starts out with A, telling them what's going to be covered in the meeting, B, that you tell them where they are in terms of schedule in production and what to expect, where you are, and then what to expect for the coming week or 2 weeks, however often you meet with your client. And then third, where are they in terms of dollars and cents? Where are they in terms of the original contract, the original scope, any changes to scope that have happened? And then where are, what's all the numbers going to land at, and what your projected end date is. I said, if you start the meeting from that place, and then what you've done is you've set a context for, all right, so what do I, now when you start to have that conversation with the client about if we have selections, here's where in the schedule we need those selections done by, or those, those items to be picked out, or those colors or whatever. If you can do that by then, it'll allow us to stay on schedule. Now you've given the client a bigger context for being able to know what their part is, and that you've helped them have more clarity, which lets them have more confidence, that they can take more powerful actions in making quicker decisions, and that will allow you to have the customer feel more connected to where they are on the project. Because here's the interesting thing. People, when we have clarity and we have that confidence, we're going to be a little bit, our ability to have more trust and confidence, and when we have more confidence, goes way up. So if you want people to trust you more and have less conflict, how do you increase that trust? And when I always seems to come back to, and I've seen this time and again, that this really works on projects when I talk to contractors, the more you can keep your client informed all along the way on that project, the more they're going to have that increased level of clarity and confidence that builds more trust, and will have them take more powerful actions and allow them to be a better customer, and allow you to feel more like you're in sync with them, so that you can reduce that amount of conflict that happens. It's also, a great way to be able to have them be more like partners with you in that whole project process, which I think is really important in terms of the success of a project. So I would love to hear your thoughts about this as I'm closing here. If you have other ideas or thoughts about how do you maintain or enhance or improve on that client experience during the project, pop a note below. I would love to hear it. Or if there's something out of this conversation that's been an aha moment for you, let me know that as well. Thanks for being here today with me, and I'll see you next time on The Profit Builder.